Tell me what was the most challenging aspects of each of your roles, and how did you meet those challenges?
Challenging. One of the biggest challenges of Little Walter is that on the page it just reads that he's a wild, uncontrolled, unremorseful human being. But every human being that has those type of aspects to their character also juxtapose that with a more human side, and that was hard to kind of like give him a vulnerability and give him, where you like him, but he can get out of the car and just shoot somebody, and think he's just, senseless. So that was a real challenge in approaching this character.
And I just try not to judge her. Because when you're young, you think, well, if someone cheated on me, I would, go Lorena Bobbitt on him, and I would do this, that, and I would stand for all this. And then, you get older, and life happens, and, we make different choices. And, and I think there's this tendency to judge other women harshly for the choices, for the same choices that you make, because you're really saying, I'm upset with myself. You're really wanting to judge yourself and, wishing you had the strength to do something else or just had made different choices. And so my job, what made my job difficult was not judging her. And it was really difficult in certain scenes at the level of respect that was coming towards her. What Gab would love to think that I would do is so different than what the choice that I had to portray on screen, and portray those choices with strength and dignity and courage.
Would you have stayed?
Again, it's like I would love to say, no, I wouldn't stay, and da-da-da-da. But, the reality is I have stayed. I've been the woman that's stayed and dealt with it, and every woman I know has stayed, whether we admit it or not. I was trying to think of one woman I know who hasn't been cheated on, and I couldn't think of any.
Woo!
I could not think of one woman, and so I think, unfortunately, this is something that so many people, and men and women, can relate to. And with Geneva, her love of Muddy, superseded her disappointment at some of his choices.
How did playing Little Walter change you?
That is the best question I've had all day.
Oh, thanks.
I'm not being honest. It made me so weary of succumbing to your demons, because we all have them, and we'd be lying if we said that we didn't have them. And seeing what the alcoholism did to him, and what his anger and his temper. I'm a little hot-headed as in Columbus. I have a hot-headed nature, but he died getting beat up, in a fight. And at any moment, your demons can become your demise, and it really changed the way I approach battling them. And you don't want to be a slave to anything: alcoholism, drug addiction, sex addiction, fighting addiction. I say it really helped. It really helped. It was really a therapeutic process for me. And it did change me. It was a great question.
Thank you. Now, speaking of therapeutic, is music therapeutic to both of you, would you say?
I think, definitely.
Who's it not therapeutic to?
Yeah. I mean, it was interesting because I saw the movie for the first time in its entirety at the premiere last week, and you sing the song that you sing when you're doing the performance. I went online and I downloaded it off of iTunes.
She downloaded my version.
Yeah,
actually,
cool.
The one of me singing.
I went with the real Little Walter, but they're both very talented artists. But it does something to you,
yeah.
and it spoke to me in the film, and I wanted that experience to be able to put on, when I'm feeling, when I want that experience, and whether it be Keisha Cole, when I feel like, oh, I'm having a bad day, I want a little Keisha Cole or Mary J. Blige or Luther Vandross to put you in the mood. It is so much a part of our fabric as people, and inspires so much, and that's why I love what what this movie does, in highlighting the beauty of this art that they created as blues artists.
Okay, got the cut sign. It was a pleasure.
Thank you for your questions.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your thoughtful questions.